Welcome to the Bloody First. You're a long way from Texas, farm boy.
Hey, I'm Michael Condrey. I am the game director for Call of Duty World War II, one of the studio heads, and it's amazing to be here with you guys on How to Kill an Hour.
Yeah, thank you very much. First things first, kick-ass game. I'm not going to lie, we've just played it. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend that we don't know what's to come. There's so much to experience in this brand new Call of Duty. What were some of the main things you wanted to give to us, the user, the player of the game, with this new release?
Man, this has been 3 years in the making, and it's a big game, right? This really rich tapestry of the largest war in human history, right? This influx in the history of the planet gave us a ton to work with. So the campaign is rich in a narrative that honors and respects the sacrifice of World War II and the greatest generation. But the stuff you just played in multiplayer, that's where my heart is at. We've got headquarters and war mode and, a return to boots on the ground, and it just, man, there's something for everyone here. And then, of course, we got Nazi zombies.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, we've got to have a slice of that. We've got to have a portion of that, yeah.
But, yeah, today you were playing multiplayer with us, and I think you can kill far more than an hour because there's so much in there.
Definitely. In terms of narrative, that's quite interesting because you've managed to bring a lot more narrative to the multiplayer area of it. Can we discuss some of the games that we played today and how you've brought narrative into the multiplayer environment and made it even more rich?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we really wanted to do with this game, with World War II, was to bring you back to being, the common soldier. Not a super soldier, a tier 1 soldier that we've seen in recent Call of Duties, but, the common man, the 20-year-old kid going to war. And in multiplayer itself, we bring you to life in headquarters. That's this 48-player social space where you and your mates can connect and get ready to go online. And then the traditional gun-on-gun action that Call of Duty is known for, hardpoint, domination, team deathmatch, that's really great. But often that becomes a little bit of a lone wolf kind of experience. You're really out there just competing for your own score streaks and things, right?
Yeah.
So Gridiron, which is loosely based off of North American football, or similar, I guess, to rugby, but more North American football, is really about bringing a team together with an objective. That you played that. Hopefully you had a good time with that. And then our big new mode is called War Mode. And War Mode really is about putting you and your squad in these really iconic battles. And you and I just played Operation Neptune, which is the collision of Axis and Allied forces on D-Day, on Normandy Beach. And the really great thing about these experiences is it is narrative driven. It's about your team having to either capture or defend strategic objectives, and you get to see it from both perspectives, like seeing the Axis perspective of defending D-Day, which is pretty compelling in a multiplayer experience.
Very much, yeah. It drew us right in, and one of the things I find interesting about this is that, as you mentioned it in other titles where you've got first-person shooting, people are used to quite high-tech weapons, quite crazy, out-of-this-world stuff. I mean, we've seen things like this in previous Call of Duty releases. How did you manage to keep the level of excitement, even though the technology has rolled back slightly? People would presume, because you've not got lasers, it's not going to be as exciting, where that is not the case. How did you overcome it? How did you make that exciting still for us?
It's really a wonderful question, and it's something, I'll admit early on, we wrestled with a little bit too. In our last game in Advanced Warfare, we had a blank canvas. We got to create the vision of near future and the technology and geopolitics and who's the protagonist, and we spent an awful lot of time convincing the players that this world was possible or plausible or real. And while that gave us a creative freedom to invent things, we also had to convince you that it was things that you believed could happen. We were really proud of that game, and I think we found the right balance there. But coming back to World War II and this authentic arsenal of iconic locations and classic weapons and equipment, it was a different creative opportunity. What we needed to do was capture the authenticity and the believability, because it is real, right? And players, when they pick up that STG-44 or hear the ping of the Garand and the reload, they know what that looks like. They've seen it before in other linear media, and so different challenge. What we found was the stories were rich in opportunity. In fact, in some cases, reality was somewhat stranger than fiction. Right? Like the Germans and the Axis forces, they were very technologically advanced. The Allied forces had a ton at their disposal, sort of overwhelmed just by sheer numbers. And so, as we found these iconic battles, everything from D-Day itself, as you know, to the leveling of Aachen, to the liberation of Paris, we had so much material to work with. And so in multiplayer, as you saw, there is plenty. And one of the things that we brought to life was this concept of divisions, straight out of the war, chance for you as a player to enlist as an airborne or an infantry or a sniper in the mountain division, etc. And so the wealth of material to draw from was so rich that, in fact, we had no challenge finding ways to surprise and delight fans.
Great. So I guess it was more of a case of what do we take out and what do we put in instead of scratching around for story. It was kind of a reverse of that, wasn't it?
It really was. Yeah, that's the right way to put it. And there are volumes of resources to draw from. I mean, we literally traveled in the bootsteps. We went to D-Day, and we went to the Hürtgen Forest and the Battle of the Bulge and up to Aachen and to the edge of Gibraltar. And there's a phenomenal museum in Luxembourg dedicated to World War II, and we have an amazing World War II history museum in New Orleans full of artifacts. And so as you sit there and you research deeply into what's available, it was a lot of fun. And through that, you talk to veterans and you hear their stories, and you really get a sense of the weight of this material. Yeah. And that really required us to treat it with some care, sort of a steward,
exactly,
an ambassador to the cause.
Yeah.
And we found that really rewarding and really powerful.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a sensitive issue still to very many today. Absolutely. And you've managed to sort of address it in a way that's made it entertaining, but also I feel like it's quite accurate as well.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, throughout, I think the thing we wanted to do was, realize it was a piece of entertainment.
Yeah.
And each mode has a slightly different guardrail to what that could be. Nazi zombies, we have all kinds of fantastical opportunities. Multiplayer is really competitive and social, and we maintain that. I think you felt that.
Yeah.
And then campaign itself was really honoring and respecting the cause and the people that gave their lives.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. As a franchise, Call of Duty, as a name that like sort of rings around gamers' brains all over the world, what do you feel this Call of Duty has that no other game has?
Well, I appreciate you asking that. I mean, what this franchise has is, we've got the greatest fan base on the planet in video games. We really do. Passionate players who love the franchise, love what Call of Duty means. And I think this is the right game at the right time for them. For us, on Advanced Warfare, our last game, it was all about innovation. We listened closely to fans, what they wanted. They wanted a new way to play. And once again, we heard loud and clear, this time around, the fans wanted to go back to the beloved beginnings of where this franchise made its first name. And frankly, where has it been in a decade? And so, through all of those great opportunities to interact with fans at E3 and Gamescom in Cologne and with our big multiplayer beta, we've really listened closely to what they thought was working and where we had opportunities to continue to improve. And so this game is built from passionate developers, for passionate fans, and I think they're going to find that it's really rich and robust in every mode of the game, and in particular in multiplayer. It's the multiplayer experience they've been asking for.
Awesome, and I know you guys are big fans of multiplayers on the dev team. What are you going for at the moment? What are you playing at the moment when you're getting your hands on the game?
Yeah, I know that it's so funny you ask because 3 years in the making, right? Hundreds of developers pouring their heart and soul into this. And when you get to the end, to have us this excited to play, it really speaks to how much fun we're having. And it's totally true. I mean, we were here, I was telling you the story, we were here, we're just about to launch. We're full of anxiety and anticipation. And we played until 2 a.m. last night. Gridiron is so fun when you're playing with your mates, right? When you're really that social competitive, experience is just so much fun. So we were playing a lot of Gridiron last night. Actually, you know, not to sort of speak to your fans directly, but one of my favorite maps is the London Docks map. So we were playing that a lot. You played with us today. That's a phenomenal map. So Gridiron on London Docks is great. The war experience is also just, it's so much fun. Yeah,
there's so many elements to it that kind of add these dynamics of play, like placing explosives in certain places, like just unlocking different areas. I think it's amazing. You also had a version that you were playing, weren't you? You have your own sort of, was it Gentleman's Rules? You have your own game that you're playing at the moment. You might want to play this. Yeah,
well, you know, it's interesting because we get to these places where we're so competitive with each other. And, you know, there are some amazing competitors in the dev team. We hired an ex-pro MLG developer to come on and be one of our designers. His name's Ray, world champion, right? So he plays at a level, it'd be like if you and I decided to go play soccer, European football with somebody that did it professionally, right? He plays at a different level. So we're always trying to figure out ways to, you know, handicap him. So last night, we came up with a custom game rule. We were tentatively calling it Gentleman's Rule, where it was pistols and shovels only. And that's the great thing about this game. I mean, the public matches, there's a ton in there, games that we've set up for the community. There's a ton for esports, like our ranked play and our game battles. And then there's private matches. There's custom matches where you and your friends can decide these crazy rules you want to play. And so it was, we were all running around beating each other with shovels and still mostly losing to Ray. Rambo Ray. That's right. Kicking ass. He was moving. You were playing with him, right? Like man. That guy operates at a different speed. I feel like he's a superhuman running amongst us. But no, he's great, though, great player. But no, thank you very much. And we at How to Kill an Hour, we're stoked, man. We're ready to play. That means a lot. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us. It was you guys were holding your own in there too. So. Hey, look, I saw you come up on the Bronze Star a couple times. Hey, well, they call me Marcus Bronzy, so I suppose it's appropriate. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks, cheers. Marcus. Pleasure.
Let's move. Well, ain't that something, Fritz?